Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Legends of Tomorrow Season 3. And this is going to be my review for episode 15 of this season, otherwise entitled Necromancing the Stone. So of course, if you have not watched the episode, go do that now before watching the rest of this video because, well, spoilers. But if you have watched the episode and you are continuing on with this video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this episode, whether you liked it, what didn't you like, just your general opinions. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. So last episode was it was sort of felt like a filler episode, but it wasn't a filler episode at the same time. It was sort of a weird Legends episode. I enjoyed it, but it was a bit, conflictive, I guess, within the people that watched Legends. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it, but what are you going to do? Anyway, it introduced the Death Totem, which we knew, that the sixth totem, this mystery totem going into this season was going to be the big, okay, this is going to be the big game changer, and if you want to call that. And well, going by this episode, it was a pretty big game changer. But last episode, episode 14, the Office episode, introduced the Death Totem to us. So we start off the episode with Sarah basically, seeing this, walking through the Wave Rider and seeing this girl running around. At the beginning, I was like, who's this girl? I thought it might have been a young Sarah, and then it wasn't. I was like, is it a young Laurel? Who is it? I was sort of confused, but she was obviously screaming for John, as in John Constantine, while this girl was there. So I was a bit confused by it, but we get it explained later on who that was, but we'll get into that later on when it's relevant. And I do like how they put, with all the time tears, or the time in, the tear in the fabric of time, I think that's the best way to put it. How Wally says, is it like Flashpoint? And Ray's like, yeah, it's similar. So basically, this is Flashpoint 2.0 that the Legends would have to be dealing with if everything goes Malice's way and everything just gets mushed up into a big time smoothie, I think that Ray was calling it. I think it's worse than Flashpoint, to be completely honest. I think Woolly Mammoth and Genghis Khan running around modern day with some other things going on is much worse than what was happening in Flashpoint. But yeah, it's similar, but just a bit worse. It's like Flashpoint 2.0 to the extreme, with deleted scenes, if you want to call it that. Now, one of my favourite scenes in this episode was definitely the Sarah, just normal Sarah, and the Sarah Canary scene. So we see Sarah when she was in Arrow Season 2 and beginning, or the first episode of Season 3, in her Canary outfit. One of my favourite scenes of the episode, if not my favourite scene. I think I just said it was my favourite scene, but I just liked it. It was cool seeing Sarah back in that Canary suit. They could have done more with it. I think if they could, if the other actress had the available time, they probably would have got Laurel or Katie Cassidy to come in as Laurel and, be in the Black Canary suit maybe, or just have Laurel there. They might have been able to do that, but obviously Katie Cassidy is a main player on Arrow this season, so it might have been difficult to do that. But this is the next best option, I guess, with Sarah in the Canary suit. I really did like seeing her back in there. It's been a while, I guess. But this all leads to Sarah becoming the bearer of the Death Totem, as we already knew due to some set pictures from the finale in the second last episode that Sarah would be wearing it. But it was good to finally see it happen on the show. Now, when Sarah becomes the Death Witch, I did like the look of her. Like the silver white hair, I really thought was cool. Just the design of it all, I thought was really cool. We saw the Earth Witch, if you want to call her that, when Blackbeard's girlfriend, if you want to call her that, put on the Earth Totem and just brought down what was deep within her, and she basically became the Earth Witch. I did like what Sarah looked like as the Death Witch. And it's basically Malice controlling her. That's the best way to put it. So that's why Malice, when Sarah speaks as the Death Witch, it's Malice's voice. But Sarah as the Death Witch is just OP as hell. So we don't see her absolutely mess up Ray, but we see the aftermath of it. Obviously, Constantine did say that, back in episode 11, or no, episode 10 was it? That if Sarah was to get controlled by Malice again, then Ray was meant to go and, stop her. They do suggest that. I think one of the guns is smoking and stuff like that. But they never actually fully explain it on the show. I don't think Ray mentions it. Unless that happens, let me know in the comments if they do mention it. But I can't remember Ray bringing it up. But obviously, Ray must have seen Sarah there as a Death Witch and gone to kill her. And Death Witch has gone, or Sarah has just gone, no, are you kidding? Look how powerful I am. And just absolutely destroyed him. What did Ray have? A punctured lung, broken femur, fractures throughout his legs and arms. He got messed up. Now, one scene, if you had been paying attention to the promotional material in regards to articles and just news in general for this episode, you would have known that Jessie Quick would have been showing up in this episode. Now, I was wondering, okay, how is she going to show up? And she shows up through the Death Totem, and essentially what Malice was doing was bringing forth people's greatest fears. Not necessarily people they'd lost their lives. In some cases, that was the case. Those people were dead. But in the case of Wally, obviously Jessie isn't dead. Or we didn't see her die, at least, unless she went back to Earth 2 and just randomly died. She's not dead, but it is deep down Wally's greatest fear, and that is basically telling the truth to Jessie. So what we see Wally say to Jessie is basically, you know what, I'm happy that we broke up. It allowed me to travel the world, make some friends. Look, I'm on the Wave Rider, traveling through time. I'm a legend now. It's better than when I was with you. That's essentially what he was saying. So through this statement, they basically essentially ended Wally and Jessie's relationship. We shouldn't be seeing that anymore from now on. And now this does open the door for Linda Park. A lot of people do want the whole, the comic book accuracy. So Wally West, dates Linda Park and eventually marries her, and then we get the whole them having children and stuff like that. Don't know if we get that far. I think that's the good way to go down, because I think at this end of this season, Wally's going to Flash, and I'll have another piece of evidence to support that at the end of the video. Most of you guys would know the news that I'm referring to. But Wally will go back to the Flash, I'm guessing, and at the end of this season, he'll be in Flash next season. And if they're going down Iris's reporting storyline, that's how you integrate Wally back with Linda. If they just bring Linda back to be Wally's, relationship and girlfriend, and that's the only point, then don't do it. I hate when shows do that. But if Linda's actually a relevant part of the show, other than being with Wally, then do it. And they can start the relationship. Obviously, there is an age gap. Like, Linda's around the age of Barry and Iris, which is around 30, while Wally's in, his early 20s. So there's an age gap there, but I guess they could make it work. One of my other favourite scenes for this episode was definitely Gary, Ava of the Time Bureau, going to meet Constantine, and it was just a funny scene. Just the interactions between not only Constantine and Ava, which were funny and bit banterish, might I say, but also just Gary there, and he brings up the whole D&D thing, and it also relates back to the Legends, which I found extremely strange as well, but it was sort of weird how that all lined up. But I don't know, Legends makes everything work somehow. I don't know how they do it, so you have to give them an applause for that. Now, as I was saying, with Malice bringing back, or bringing forth people's, deepest fears, we did see Zari and her brother. This is a pretty emotional scene. I think we're going to see more of this going forward, especially because Zari's, connection to the totems and her brother's connection to the totem. I think we're going to see that happen more and more. Or at least once or twice more throughout this season. I'm interested to see how that goes. But that was a pretty tough scene for Zari, and I thought it was a really nice one as well. And as I was referring to at the beginning of the video, and just the beginning of this episode in general, that little girl that Sarah was seeing, running through the wave ride and stuff, and I was confused as to who the hell she was. It ends up she was actually the daughter of one of Sarah's victims when she was a part of the League of Assassins. So I'm guessing this guy was a runaway from the League, maybe, or just a target of Ra's al Ghul. He does say, just don't say Ra's al Ghul and stuff like that, or don't tell Ra's al Ghul. But Sarah kills him, and then his daughter comes out, runs, and sees her father dead. And you can just see, Sarah felt something there at the League of Assassins. But, when she was there at that time, you know how the League of Assassins are. If you've been watching Arrow and stuff like that, there's not a lot of sympathy from them. Another cameo in this episode, which I was very surprised with, I was like, holy crap, I can't believe he's in this episode, was Commander Seal showed up, aka Nate's grandfather, and they had a bit of a fist fight. It was random seeing him back. The cameos in this episode were very surprising, but awesome at the same time, so it was really cool to see that. Now, one thing we knew was going to happen in this episode, it wasn't too surprising because the synopsis said it, and I think even a future synopsis of another episode just flat out says it, but Mick becomes the bearer of the fire totem, which was really cool. I think Mick's been one of, if he's not your favourite character on Legends, he's sure your second or third character, or favourite character, might I say. And seeing him just get the powers was really cool, just taking down Sarah as the Death Witch as well. I'm excited to see Mick get more use out of those powers. It was just really cool to see. And, because Sarah did destroy his gun, I'm pretty sure. He might be able to put it back together, but when when Death Witch has her fight with Amaya and Mick, I'm pretty sure she destroys Mick's gun. So it's actually handy as the fire totem now, because I'm pretty sure his gun is out of commission. I think it's gone. Now, definitely the most emotional part of the episode, I guess, especially if you are an Avalanche shipper. I think that's a ship name between Sarah and Ava. The breakup scene between them two, just because basically all the baggage, I guess, that Sarah has, and she doesn't really want to have it with Ava and make Ava a part of that baggage. I guess that's the best way to put it. Very emotional scene, but I think it's all set up for next episode, which is a very Ava-centric episode. I don't think you'd ever be thinking that would be happening this season. Once we met Ava, that we go, oh, okay, we're going to get like an Ava-centric episode at some point in this season. I don't think anyone thought that was going to happen, but that's happening next episode. So I think that is all, it's a part of this episode, very relevant to this episode, but it also is moving on into next episode, the Ava-centric episode. So if you're an Avalanche shipper, I'm sure you were, your eyes are watering, if not full on crying because you wanted that to work out. But I guess we have to wait and see what happens next episode before we fully, full stop what's happening there with that storyline. And the last scene for this episode was a great one. That was just simply Constantine playing a bit of Dungeons and Dragons with Gary's D&D team. Just a simply fun scene, which moves on to our best, or our next bit of information. And just before this episode of Legends of Tomorrow aired, they actually announced that Constantine will be joining Legends in Season 4 as a series regular. Now, that's awesome news, but there is one little blemish to that, but I think it'll be moved. That blemish won't exist in the next couple of weeks, and that is that Legends of Tomorrow hasn't been officially renewed for Season 4, but the fact that they have made this announcement does suggest that, it's going to be renewed. It's just inevitably going to happen. Just, we've got to wait till it gets officially announced, I guess. Legends gets a good enough numbers and stuff to stay on the air, so that shouldn't be a worry. So Constantine will be a part of the Legends in Season 4 as a series regular. How awesome is that? Just cool. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's one of the best episodes of the season. Sets up the death totem for more stuff later in the future. Sarah's in a battle and stuff was really interesting to watch. And then we also had Mick getting the fire totem. And it was a lot of focus on all the legends. It wasn't just like, oh, these legends went off and did their own thing. We focused on like 2 or 3 of them. Every legend really got a focus, which was really good to see. And obviously, just Mick getting the fire totem, I'm just excited to see more of that. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on the video to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below what was your favorite part of the episode. What parts didn't you like too much? What did you think of the episode overall? Just let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.